Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Spark is Love. Oh, I am so happy. I'm so happy. So, I have Rama Walker here from Nurseify. And just being honest, she is a phenomenal woman. And she just invented this. Well, I'll let her tell you. I'm going to welcome you. You could tell us all about yourself and what you created. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, my name is Rama Walker. I am the Chief Nursing Officer and Chief Operating Officer for Nurseify. I can't take credit for creating it. My boss, the CEO, Benjamin Foster, actually created the application. And so it's just been a really exciting journey leaving the hospital setting and being involved in healthcare in this capacity. So thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming. So, can you give us a little bit of your background? You said you were in the hospital setting.
Yes, I've been a nurse over 15 years and worked for HCA for the majority of my career. And actually, the majority of it has also been in leadership. So that's really my passion, taking care of the people that take care of the people. So I love that. But after a while, I really had to especially with the pandemic, made
Mhm.
a big lifestyle change to be more present for my children and have a lot more flexibility, but also still be able to meet my personal and uh, professional goals.
Yes, yes. I keep saying I'm so proud of you. I'm just a groupie. Leadership is like so new. I've never even been into leadership. And now that I'm meeting all these awesome leaders, you're not just leading in the clinical aspect, but you're actually leading in technology. You're leading in innovation. So you are part of the Nurseify group. Can you give us a little bit about Nurseify, a little background?
Yes, so Nurseify is an on-demand gig application for nurses, basically to take their control back. So they're able to get travel assignments, but they are able to set their own rates, create their profiles. It's kind of like Match.com between the nurses and the facilities. So the facilities know what they're looking for, the nurses know what they want, and hopefully those things jive and they come together for the benefit of both parties. So the
Yeah.
facilities get to save money and have direct access to the nurses, and the nurses get to maximize their earning potential. So, but outside of that, we are really just here to support nurses altogether holistically. And
Mhm.
so, if you've seen any of our conversations on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, we really try to give nurses a safe space to have conversations about everything that's impacting us, from our financial wellness to mental health, um, just a holistic approach of supporting nurses, not
Yeah.
limited to just connecting them to new job assignments, but making sure that they're okay because at the end of the day, we're just regular people too. Like we have families, we have
Exactly.
stressors that we deal with outside, and we always say you cannot pour from an empty cup. So, our goal is to provide nurses with connections, resources to be the best versions of themselves. We want to support nurses who are entrepreneurs. So, whatever that means, if you need a connection to a CPA or you need some guidance as to like where do I start, what to do, we have realtors that we work with that can also help support for first-time home buyers and just provide a lot of support from all angles.
You're speaking, and my heart is literally racing because that idea, that thought behind your business, I know you're going to do well because that is filled with love. That's jam packed with love. And it's not something that you're saying, hey, join Nursify and you'll get all these benefits. You're out there delivering. I see you every week on Instagram. You're talking about mental health, you're talking about buying a house. We could ask questions. I just feel as though where you're going is actually where nursing is heading, into a holistic path. Because if we're going to be caring for the population and humanity, I think it is necessary for us to stop and think about how broken humanity is. And if we're also broken, especially after pandemic, how can we help anyone? So,
Absolutely.
you, all heart. I feel you, nurse. I love you, nurse. Thank you so much for what you're doing, what you have done, and what you will do. Now, if someone says, I want to be an entrepreneur or I want to sign up for flexibility, how would they go about that? What's the process?
So it's very simple. You just get on our website, nurseify.app. So nurse with an EIFY dot app, create your profile. Most likely you'll talk to me as a CNO because I like to get to know the nurses individually. So I'll usually reach out to them in some form or fashion and support them in getting their profile created. And then they go through the credentialing process and their profile goes live. We also do something pretty unique that was kind of like a thorn in my side when I was a director in the hospital,
Uh-huh.
that I didn't get to really meet or understand who my contract nurses were going to be. They just kind of showed up.
Yes.
And so in our platform, we allow the nurses to record a video of themselves answering some interview questions, and
Mm-hmm.
it kind of helps you put your personality out there, puts a face to a name, and the
Yes.
nurse leader gets a good idea of who you are and what you could bring, to the unit. Even though it's a temp assignment,
Mm-hmm.
you're still going to be impacting the culture of that unit. You're going to be
Mm-hmm.
touching those lives. And so to me, it's very important that it it's a win-win for both sides. You want to make sure that the facility is a good fit for you, and the facility wants to make sure that you're a good fit for that department. Um, so then they fill out their profile and they get booked for their assignment and they start working just like any other agency. But outside of that, like I said, even if you end up not traveling as a nurse with us, if you are involved with us in any capacity, we have tons of resources. We actually held a Zoom last week that was hosted by a nurse who turned to become a therapist, and it talked about PTSD and me and burnout. And, a lot of the times, we're just on autopilot. We just treat one patient after the next, and we don't really take time to digest the trauma of what is happening every time we're exposed to these situations. And so it was just a really good platform and a safe space for the nurses to like, "Oh, okay, yeah, so that's some validation. And
Yes.
yes, I am dealing with that. And here are some tools." Because a lot of the times people may think you need to run from that situation, but if you are called to nursing and that is your passion, you may not be able to change the environment, but you can change how you react to it, how you deal with it, how you cope with it.
Mm-hmm.
So giving you those tools to add to your toolbox so you can be better when you get to work and not dread going to work.
Yes.
So
Absolutely. Now, are you available to all nurses around the United States, or are you like East Coast, or just to everyone?
to everyone. Right now we have a focus on certain states that have a greater need, but of course we take nurses from all over the United States that are willing to travel. But again, also just a different um, group of nurses who may want the benefit of the traveling, but not necessarily leave their hometown. So let's say me, I'm a Houston nurse. I want travel agency money, but I don't necessarily want to leave Texas. Those opportunities are still available to local nurses as well.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
And is it just hospitals, or do you do like assisted living facilities or nursing homes as well?
So, we're not, everything is on the table. So if there's a
Okay.
facility that needs nurses that wants to partner with us, because the same way that the nurses can create profiles with us, the facilities are welcome to also create a profile. So if they want to create a profile and set up their open assignments with us, we're not saying no to anyone.
Awesome, awesome. I think this is wonderful. Like I told you before, I looked at the movie Hidden Figures and I'm like, oh my gosh, all these people did these amazing things. And 200 years later, I have to sit down in in the movie theater to find them out. So I'm like, you're making history. And I know you're going to go on to greater and better things in the future. Like, I mean, it's just only going to get better. But I want to capture
Yeah.
it right now. I want to capture history as it's happening because this is awesome. Florence Nightingale, if she was next to me, she would be like, go girl. Because this is wonderful. I mean, you're a business owner, but you're also a nurse, and that is powerful because you think about the humans behind the job. You have the perspective where you can really bring about a win-win situation. It's needed.
Absolutely.
It's needed.
Absolutely.
So I'm
I
gonna
am, extremely grateful and, blessed to have gotten back with Benjamin Foster. He's the brains behind all of this.
yes.
I have the pleasure of kind of being his right wingman, but his passion being a non-nurse and just really having this great big heart and wanting the nurses to get what they deserve, financially from a support standpoint, just a well-rounded, and to have met someone who's on the same page and has that same mindset, that's
Yeah.
not a nurse, is just like,
Yes.
oh, it
Yeah.
excites me every single day. And so it doesn't feel like work. And I always tell people, if get the opportunity to do what you love every single day, it doesn't feel like work. I feel like I'm
Mhm.
living out my purpose
Yes.
um, every single day. So it's been truly an amazing, amazing ride.
I am so happy you highlighted Benjamin Foster because I think that he too, he has set, like, you guys' collaboration has set a trend for future because usually within the hierarchy of the hospital, um, nurses, even some of our nurse leaders, they're fighting for us, but they have a lot of pushback because
Yep.
we're not always respected. So for
Yep.
a business, someone who's non-nursing to say, hey, let me partner up with a nurse and get their input, get the nurses input to create something. I think even that mindset is really
Absolutely.
phenomenal, really phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Shout out
Yes.
if you're listening, shout out to
Yes.
you.
Benjamin. Yes, he's
Yes,
amazing.
yes. So I'm so happy that you took some time today. Do you have any words of inspiration for any nurses out there who may feel like they're at their wits' end? Maybe they've been traveling and they're really burnt out, or maybe they're trying to be an entrepreneur like me and have no clue about the business world. Any words of wisdom or inspiration?
I think the best thing that anyone could do for themselves is to just stop, take a moment, and really do a self-assessment, really, really evaluate, like, what do I really want?
Mm-hmm.
What is what drives you? What motivates you? Because when the times get really tough, you have to be able to lean on that to keep you going. Because if it's something that's very superficial, it's easy for you to lose sight of why you're doing what you do every day and what drives you. And also just investing in yourself in so many different ways. We talk a lot about self-care, but really understanding what that means for you. Self-care for Kasey could look different for self-care for Rama. Just
True.
taking time for yourself, choosing you. And it's not in a selfish way, but in a way that allows you to be whole again so that you have enough of yourself to give to others. And then just building a solid circle of people with different skill sets that you can pull from. And so if you guys are all on the same page, it's kind of hard for you guys to motivate each other. So I have friends that do a lot of different things that kind of motivate me to look and think outside the box, because you just never know where you may land. Um,
Yes.
I know that's a lot of words of wisdom, but taking leaps of faith, because you just never know where you may land with that. And believing in yourself, absolutely. But use your resources, use your circle. Don't be afraid to reach out. Um, Listen, LinkedIn is such a powerful tool that's available to us. And over time, I've literally just like randomly connected with people, and you just never know where that lands you. And
Yes.
not be afraid to put yourself out there, because The worst thing they can say is no.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. That I've been soaking it up. I've been soaking it up. Such good words, and you were telling the truth because even asking you, I'm like, oh, she's a chief nursing officer. I cannot ask her for an interview on my little YouTube channel. But I said, you know what? She could just say no, and you didn't say no, so here we are.
Well, I absolutely appreciate the opportunity to share my story. It's just been such a pleasure. And, if we could just touch one nurse out there, then we did our job.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And I have a feeling we're going to touch many more. But you know
Yes.
what? I thank you for your time. I know you're a busy mom, businesswoman, nurse. But I just like I say, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of your team. I'm so proud of you even putting this out there. And when I say you represent Nurseify, and I really appreciate Nurseify even making this available to nurses.